Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your Libertarian car guy, and I'm going to try to get a quick walk around here of the 2017 Mazda 3 before the rain starts up again. It's been raining for pretty much 3 days straight out here in the woods of Southwest Virginia. Anyway, the 3 is a really impressive car, in my opinion, and not just because it looks really good for a car that starts just over 17,000 bucks. If you look at this thing, I think it compares favorably to cars that cost 2 or 3 times as much, but that's fluff, and you might read that elsewhere, so I'm not going to focus on just the looks, which is entirely subjective. I'm going to talk about some of the objective things that I think make this car stand out. 2 things in particular. The first is that you can get a manual transmission in this car, and not just that, folks, you can get a manual transmission with both of the 3's available engines. That's getting really hard to find. A lot of other cars, this goes for entry-level cars all the way up the food chain, maybe will offer a manual transmission with the base low-powered engine, but if you want the more powerful engine, you're stuck going with an automatic. And I say stuck because if you like to drive, no matter how efficient, no matter how precisely shifting, an automatic or a dual clutch automatic or sequential manual or whatever they want to call it, maybe the fact is that it's just more fun to shift gears for yourself. At least it is in this cranky old libertarian's opinion. So that's really cool. You can get the 6-speed manual with both the base 2.0 engine and the optional 2.5-liter engine. Really cool deal. The other thing that I like about this car is that there are no turbos with either engine. Mazda is one of the few manufacturers that has not resorted to turbos to bump up the power of small engines, to maintain power and performance while also achieving the mileage numbers that are necessary, not so much for the people who are buying the cars, but to comply with federal fuel economy fatwas, which continue to emanate from D.C., notwithstanding Trump's promises to do something about that. Anyhow, the way Mazda does that, that is, the way Mazda achieves high specific output from the engine while also achieving high mileage, is by using what they market it as Sky Active technology. And basically all that means is they use high compression and clever valve timing to move a lot of air through the engine. A turbo does the same thing, but it does it with additional physical mechanical equipment, and it does it more expensively, and not just up front, but potentially down the road. Now, I know they've done a lot of work to improve the durability and reliability of turbos, and it's entirely possible that the current crop of heavily turbocharged engines might indeed live very long lives and never cause you any problems. But there's always the possibility that that might not be the case, and if the turbo goes out on you, it can get really, really, really expensive. I have a buddy who's a mechanic, and he was recently putting a turbo in a Subaru like this one, which I'll be reviewing after I get done with this Mazda. And, you know, even a rebuilt turbo and relatively affordable labor, you're still looking at $1,500 bucks, $2,000 bucks to put a turbo in a car. That is a problem that you will never have if you buy this car, because it doesn't have a turbo. So those are the 2 things that I really, really like about this car. Briefly, I want to show you some other things that I like about it as well. Oh, sorry for the delay. Somebody programmed it to lock all the time when you get out of it, which I hate. A lot of cars have that. But have a look at this really nice interior. Now, mind you, this is Mazda's entry-level car. This is the least expensive car that Mazda sells. And it comes standard with, let me turn it on so that you can see. It comes standard with an LCD touchscreen, and not only that, it comes standard with a big LCD touchscreen. It's about 7.5 inches, which is considerably bigger than the standard touchscreens in other classes. You can also get this behind my Valentine 1 radar detector, shameless plug. You can see that is the heads-up display. That's another thing that's extremely unusual in this segment. You can get it with a heated steering wheel. I'm not sure whether this particular one has it, but it is available. And overall, just a really sharp, handsome-looking car. With features and amenities that are kind of unusual for a car in this class. And I'll tell you what, one of the really nice things about the current state of the car industry, notwithstanding all the unfortunate things about the current state of the car industry, is that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a really nice car. This is nominally and marketed as an entry-level car, so it's just surprising how nice it is. You know, you get a car like this and park it next to, for example, the BMW 5 Series that I had last week and reviewed, and the article's up on the site. And that BMW is a fantastic car, gorgeous car, yada yada. It's also a $70,000 car, and you know, this one maxes out at 24. And there's nothing low rent, cheap, crappy feeling, embarrassing, slipshod about this car at all. The fact is that even if I could afford to buy a $70,000 car, I'd be much more inclined to buy something like this, because it not only gets the job of transportation done, it gets it done attractively, pleasantly, enjoyably. This is a lot of fun to drive, and I'll get into the driving part in my written review, which should be up on the site sometime this weekend, coffee and mojo permitting. Anyhow, thanks for viewing, and we'll catch up with you again.